Welcome to the Heart of the Matter podcast. I'm Junon.
And I'm Susan Billings. Today our podcast is sponsored by Coast News, and we're at the Bermuda Club.
We are. We're here with Scott and Eric.
Thanks, guys. Excited to be here.
Morning.
Hello. Well, we're excited to have this conversation.
I'm not sure why, but we'll figure it out.
Okay, so Bermuda Club, this is like the new spot in town. We're here
There's
in
a buzz about
Carlsbad.
it right now. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We're starting to get some good traction. It's been a labor of love for a year, but we've been sort of soft open since about September, and that's it. Yeah,
Yep.
September.
And it's been a year, only a year.
Yeah.
That's
Wow,
quick.
you're fast moving.
Wild.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear the story real quick?
that's
All right. Unfortunately, we're missing our third partner. So there's three of us that have really driven the train here on this thing. But it started really simply with an idea of wanting to kind of do this space we're sitting in. So we're currently in what we call our speakeasy. So it's a member lounge, private room, obviously our fourth golf simulator. In our main space, I'm sure you'll get a tour through there. We've got, it's more like a co-work environment, 3 golf simulators, the whole thing. It didn't start that big. It started with kind of a simpler idea, similar to what we're sitting in, where we talked about golf simulator as a place that we'd rent out to the public. And as fun as that sounded, it also sounded kind of like a nightmare of dealing with public and people wanting to drink excessively and marketing and the whole thing. And really the equation changed after having conversations with a few key people, but one in particular is a mutual friend of ours who's a really prominent, important person in our lives. And he kind of put us more on the direction of go bigger with this membership concept and the community concept. And that just resonated. He luckily brought in Eric, and why don't you jump in and tell sort of where we've gone from
But
there.
you didn't know each other until he brought you in.
Correct.
Wow. Bermuda Club is
So
uniting people. That's
you're
great.
a new relationship as of a year.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. You started dating. It's
Yeah.
just been working out.
Yeah.
Great.
Our wives are good with
It
it.
was like that, what's the 60-day fiance or whatever? It was very much like that. You had to know, and it just felt
We
right.
do. Still does.
Point out your Bermuda gig here
Yes.
with the socks, everything. You're repping very well. Yeah, the colors, the logo.
Well, he's got the hat.
That logo, to give him huge credit. Super creative.
And then I follow that up always with you get what you pay for. We all have very different roles in a very complementary way. It's pretty interesting. Like, so the Bermuda concept kind of came with, I don't know, it was all kinds of ideations of what we want to call this thing. I kind of went through a phase where I was obsessed with golf grass. So we wanted the golf tie-in. And as we talk more, you'll sort of learn golf is not a essential part of what we do. It's a feature for sure. That's kind of a through line. Most probably of our members do play golf or want to have the ability to jump on a simulator and have some fun at least.
You have a dirty secret there.
Yeah, my dirty secret is I do not play golf. I think my over-under of rounds of golf in my life is probably 5.5. I've tried to count it. I think it's 5 or 6. But I'm getting kind of dangerous with the simulators.
Yeah.
Like I can
You're a
swing
golfer
little bit.
now.
Yeah, it does help your game.
It helps your game. I mean, just the pure reps, and it's just so much fun. I mean, they're just a blast.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just new to this world, but I feel like golf has had a big comeback. Like young
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what
Really
it
was.
was. Yeah.
Are you a
So but I just went one time recently.
There's no excuse now.
And it was so fun.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the last podcast, but my only problem was you can't really talk as much. So I'm always
yeah.
like wanting to
She always
jump
talks in the
in and
backswing.
talk, and they're like,
So-
shh.
why this is
But this works.
Yeah, it does.
This works.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like my sons, all their friends, I mean, golfing, it's like, let's go golf.
Well, especially in San Diego. I mean, with the weather here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
But this merges, I mean, you're taking COVID to a whole nother level of let's bring office here, have an at-home kind of work environment, but that's bougie and fun, and they can stay as long as they want. It's a genius idea.
Yeah, and you're ticking a lot of the boxes where the concept starting small and getting bigger. As we're thinking through it, I think Eric has articulated this pretty well. It's kind of like, what would we be doing in the course of our day as just us? I mean, let's be honest. We built it sort of for us. We wanted this to exist. I mean, this is very much. This is not a corporate thing. This is one of one. We honestly wanted it to exist, and we wanted the things in it that we have, and we wanted the community to be what we hope it's going to be as we're developing it. We're doing a great job, I think, with that. But it was just, we just started ticking boxes. Like, well, we'd want to take some swings. Well, most of us would want to take some swings at the golf range once in a while. We'd want to get in a quick workout, so we have a small gym. Cold plunge is such a big part of people's lives these days. Yeah. Two. Don't shortchange us. We got two.
Yeah,
cold.
exactly.
Yeah.
2 different temperatures.
Yeah.
So awesome.
And then, you know,
Workout.
the work, people still work, you know, believe it or not. So the co-work space became a really big part of that. Right. And another through line with our members, generally speaking, is more often than not, they're at a stage where they have flexibility in work, which is so much more common, obviously, these days. Right. But they, you know, don't necessarily have to be on call in an office all day long. They can pick and choose, and they can be in a sort of, I call it coffee shop co-work environment, where you can have your laptop off for a little bit, and then you can close it down and hit some golf balls.
This is a perfect spot for ADHD people. I mean, it really is, because then you can go work,
It's social.
stay busy, you can work out.
You can be alone.
Yeah.
So what are your hours?
I'm a little bit of a moving target, but generally speaking, we're open staffed at 8 a.m., but our members can get early access at 5. So if you're East Coast hours, you want to do the gym, cold plunge, but we would have staff here starting at 8, generally till about 8 p.m. We have some extended hours on weekend. But bear in mind, we're not trying to be a bar. For sure, we're trying to be a social place. But this is, I mean, I actually put in a lot of our, again, you get what you pay for. I've been doing a lot of the Instagram stuff for now. I kind of like to sort of brag on when we do events and stuff. For the most part, we're back home for bedtime for the kids, you know. So we kind of shut down, you know. Get home, go to your family. We're not trying to be a place where you're running away from your family. Sure. This is a place to enhance your life and become part of what you're doing.
Yeah, it's key.
And then you talk to the wellness part, because that's your
yeah,
specialty.
I mean, hitting on what we built this for, we're all 3 middle-aged dads and husbands, and busy lives professionally, busy lives personally, and we wanted this to be a place where you can maximize your efficiency versus, like Scott says, pulls you away from those things. Right. And since COVID, a lot of people, myself and the corporate world included, just have a lot more flexibility in how they get their work week done. So we kind of consider this the third place. If you've ever heard that concept, it's kind of a historical concept of, it used to be the bowling alley back in the day in like the 70s and 80s, where it wasn't work, it wasn't home. Right. Third place, it's comfortable, it's more social. You know, but with the co-work piece, you know, we don't advertise this as come work here 50 hours a week. Sure. But most of our members are here 3 times a week, maybe a full day here and there, maybe a half day, and then we got to talk about the circuit at some point, you know. And you just see, it's interesting, like you have those that are really interested in golf, and maybe they haven't cold plunged and saunaed before, and now they're starting to do that daily. Right. It's impacting their health. Or individuals that are the opposite, like Scott, were like, you know, interested in golf, but maybe it's not my thing, and now you see him hitting golf balls almost every single time they're in here. Yeah. And it's become a part of their lives. And then, you know, family days on Saturdays, and our spouses are in here. Like, community really for us is the core. And that ties into the health side as well, which, you know.
Well, that's the whole reason why we formed the group. I mean, it really is, especially coming out of out of COVID. We talked about how everyone was very isolated. Everything was done over Zoom. So for you to create a location where people can kind of be a part of something and have a community, that's huge.
And we really wanted to build a space that physically made it a comfortable place to build natural relationships for people kind of in our age range, lifestyle. Not that, you know, we're open to anybody, but the reality is, like, at this age, it's just harder to build natural relationships outside of kids' sports friends, or I call them deal friends, work friends. So we really wanted to build a place where the connection was natural. So a lot of, as you walk around our space, you can see it's actually very intentionally side by side, which is typically how men in particular build relationships. Women do too, but you know, and there's a lot of, on the health side for us, it's physical, that's the obvious, but it's also social and emotional health too. You know, there's a lot there. We can talk about that at any point, but yeah, and then we wanted to have a place where we wanted to be and hang out and have some fun. And so for some members, it's work, and some golf, and some social, and for others, it's social. I mean, I think for the most part, if you asked our members why they sign up, what they're valuing, it's going to be a different answer, but most people will tell you community or connection, or, you know, I really wanted to get out of my house and be around other like-minded individuals. And I think I've shared this with you. What's kind of neat is, you know, a lot of successful entrepreneurs, business people, it's kind of become a little natural incubator, which we think is great, because we're not like promoting that as like, come, you know, sell your services. We're the anti-do that, but it happens, you're in the sauna with somebody else and start talking, all of a sudden you're hitting golf balls, and maybe having a chat about what you do for work, right?
I've met a handful of the members, and everyone are kind of like-minded, which is great. I mean, it's people you want to hang out with, people you want to work with, just socialize.
Day one, this is not the kind of place where you can just go on our website and put in your credit card information and join. It's orchestrated so that you come tour, and 99% of the time you're meeting one of the three GPs, right. And we're having this kind of conversation about why we're doing this. And we at least I start the tour and I end the tour with the idea of the community. Yeah. So what we're building here, look, the space is great, the amenities are great, the golf is great, the network is, the professional network is going to be great. We got all kinds of perks with, discounts on this, that, and the other from the different golf brands, all that. That's great. But at the end of the day, it's the 200 plus people that we bring into the community and what that intrinsic value is. So I think Eric puts it really well. What we're looking for, we're not exclusive by any means, and actually I think our price point is incredibly affordable, approachable for most people in this area. We're just looking for no assholes.
I was going to say, have you had drama in any way yet?
No, our members are awesome. Yeah. But I think part of what Scott's saying is why we're at that spot. Like, we're talking to these individuals, we're having this conversation saying, hey, our only member profile requirement is no assholes. And if you don't understand what that means, probably not the right fit for you. And this is we want people to come here and improve themselves, and we want them to look at the club as, well, let me help improve the club. Because if you have that mindset of growing yourself, then hopefully you're looking at this place as like, hey, contribute more than you take. That's kind of our, the way that we look at it. And
the energy, your guys' energy, the first time I had coffee with either of you was just that energy. It just draws certain people, which is great. It's kind of like the group.
Well, and you talk about one thing I love about the group is it's like not the business card transactional. I love that. And we've always talked about this being not like the anti-stuffy country club feel.
Right.
Like the casual North County, San Diego, come in your flip-flops and backwards hat all day, just don't be an asshole. Yeah. So what you do, great, that's cool, like we're interested in that, but not more than who you are and what your character is. Like that's really for us, so we think is at our core. And if we can get enough of those people, which so far so good, we think we have really, good culture we can build here.
The first time I came in, I was like, it was so much bigger than I thought. First of all, you have this huge open, I'm just gonna kind of tell viewers a little bit, but we'll show them after, but you have a big bar up front so people can hang out there, big open space, the simulators, but then these really great individual offices. Everything's decorated perfectly. Did you have a designer? Or did you do it?
Or are you the designer?
Are you the designer?
We had like a space designer, and then I was full-time furniture procurement for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so impressed. It's super bougie. It's unique.
Honestly, it's the stuff my wife doesn't want in our house, and it's like brain dump of all the stuff that I wanted in my room. I don't know why. I should have ordered two and just forced the issue.
No, but it's so well done. It's so well done. And then a conference room. You have a barber shop. That's crazy. I was like, what? I was kind of the tour guide the night we had our party here, and
also our DJ.
Yeah.
DJ.
Oh, he was great.
You have we had VR back there, but what do you normally do? Just a lounge?
Members lounge back there. Yeah, kind of just chill, hang, watch sports, the news, whatever.
A little more zen feel back there.
Yeah, a little more casual.
We'll run like breathwork classes in there.
And then you have a personal trainer that comes, right?
Yeah. So we are developing these incredible relationships with. Just the partnership potential is endless. We're just scratching the surface on it, but we have sort of a traditional weight trainer kind of person who came into our network and is just so fired up to be here, giving really like ridiculously reduced rate group lesson kind of thing. You just drop in on it, and if you're the only one, you get a group class for $10. Or sorry, a private class for $10. Yeah. And then we'll work on more of like an F45 style trainer, TPI like golf style core fitness kind of things. It's endless, and that's really the fun part that is going to be developing over, probably more into like Q1, Q2 next year, is that programming and sort of rhythmic element of these things that we're doing, whether it's a golf instruction clinic or a whiskey tasting or family fun days. We're
that.
We have kid-friendly Saturdays, so we're a 21 plus facility generally.
The family fun.
The family.
He said yes to whiskey, and I was like, family fun.
The family fun.
One of my day jobs, I'm a partner in a distillery, so I'm going to be moving a lot of whiskey probably through here.
This
is why we're friends. We should bust some out. A little early in the day maybe. I mean, those kinds of things. It's a little chicken and egg, right? Like we have to build the membership base to make those events really hit and be regularly attended. But we're starting to see like those things are starting to go great. I mean, we did a date night a couple weeks ago that was just so fun. It was so
great.
fun. We had a live musician come and use our stage. I took the opportunity of turning it into a Happy Gilmore long drive competition. So everyone, including the wives, they had to come up and do like a running drive. It's so fun. So those kinds of things are just endless, the potential that we can do.
And our partnerships, I mean, the people we're partnering with, we're looking at it the same way. Like we're meeting them, we're talking to them. Like our barber, our golf instructors, our personal trainer, they're all part of our community. Scott, Huffman, who works for Breathe Degrees, part of our community, is going to help us with some of our group stuff that we're doing. But just trying to really and that's one of the cool things is we get a lot of people in here that do different things, and whether they become members or not, they're always saying like, hey, how can we help you? And I own a coffee business. How's your coffee? Or whatever. I mean, so it's kind of endless, and we're just starting to see that those partnerships have kind of come to us. And then we've been a little selective of like, hey, who really meshes well with us? How can we make it a win for them, a win for our members, and then the club wins.
Well, that's again, I think that's the big difference between a lot of business and you guys. It's you really are looking to help, and just by the fact that you're helping, they help you, and it kind of just works out.
We just want the members to get a ton of value out of this, and if they do, they're happy, then they're talking about it, and and that comes a lot through what our partners are able to help us out with. And then they win because they're obviously getting access to some great individuals in the community too.
I feel like just within North County, San Diego, it's getting very, it's getting united. I feel like everybody's just overlapping and helping each other. I don't know if I've seen a community do that to that extent of so many different cities, like a county really come together and
I think
help
like
each
we
other.
talked about, I think COVID kind of it kind of started putting the nail in the coffin as far as people just not socializing, because even neighbors, I noticed neighbors weren't talking to each other, things like that. It just started to fracture. And yeah, you're right. I think in the last year, I think people they're tired of it, and this is the new normal, and so now they want to really connect. And you guys are doing a great job for the community.
But we really focus
For mental
on-
health, I mean, as you guys know.
It is, yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's the other thing is you're blending the, like you said, the business side of it, the family side of it, the health and wellness side, the social side.
It's like when you go on our website, which I think overall we've done a good job. You've done a really good job of getting it to a place where, like now but people ask us, well, what is it? It's like, well, it's not one thing. I mean, it's when you walk through it and you have this conversation, it's like, oh, I get it now, because. We're not, the reason we built this is because we were wondering why something like this didn't exist. And we did plenty of homework and research. And certainly there are places with golf simulators or places with these amenities, but doing this in a private member model with all these things, that's what makes this unique.
Right.
Are there packages, or is it just kind of straight across?
Really, we have two memberships, but really one main one. I think 90% of our members are.
We have sort of a work-focused one that it's like you're basically getting a floating desk kind of space, and then anything that you'd want to use on golf, gym, cold plunge, you'd be paying a la carte basically for that.
Just trying to keep it simple right now.
It's for a very specific person, and we have a member that took advantage of it, is loving it, and is basically just here for the environment and just wants a fun place to work, but doesn't necessarily want to take part in all the other stuff regularly, which is great. But the value really becomes the full membership where you get unlimited golf simulator access. For some people, that's a tremendous value, and these things are not cheap to rent hourly. And then you talk about cold plunge, you can save a couple $100 a month if you're a member at a cold plunge facility. Gym, like a lot of things, we're not necessarily designed to remove anything from your life, but we certainly could, like for a certain person. Like when we go to our little gym, it's a relatively small footprint. You can do a ton in there. But if you're a hardcore Equinox member or whatever, it's not replacing that. But for
it's just complementing it.
But for the value,
home gym
the value add that
complements
you
it.
get for the membership fee here.
She's a power lifter, so.
There you go. I know.
I think that would suffice.
Yeah, absolutely. And then hopefully, again, when we do it right and the community becomes front and center, the value of that we think is going to be tremendous and really irreplaceable. And honestly, everyone who comes in the door for a tour and our traction is really starting to pick up. Every new member who signs up seems to be more impressive than the last. And it's just, I mean, someone like when you say you do all your coffee conversations, I mean, this is, you could just walk around and be like, you're next, you're next, you're next.
Yeah.
And it's such interesting people.
Absolutely.
And the community, like we're doing a lot of programming. Now that we're got a pretty good scale of members, then it becomes we're doing a lot of programmatic stuff and events and different things within our membership group, and then within their network too. So like Couples Night we talked about, but the comedy show that we're doing, we've opened that up to their friends and our family and things like that. We'll keep doing those things.
Sure.
Eventually we have full membership, and then I mean it's just kind of endless what you can do.
So you already have the base, but you did a great job in the beginning since, I mean, September, October, then when you started doing a lot of things, partnering with other organizations in the community. So, I mean, I think the word's out there. I do a lot of coffees. I always bring a Bermuda Club. I'm like, hey, awesome. I bring it up. A lot of them, they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that place. Cool. And so you've done a great job of marketing it.
It's tricky. We have a lot of ideas, and I mean, we've been talking about it for over a year. So it's like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. But we also want to make sure it's what our members want to do.
Right.
Timing is important too. We want to roll
Sure.
these things out, like some of the group stuff that we're starting to do. Our first golf league in January.
All right.
Simulator golf
Are you
league.
doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
You don't have I don't lose
Partnership.
balls on
Yeah.
this, so I might as well give it a shot.
Exactly. Well, we need to. I've been suggesting jujitsu here. We'll put up a jujitsu like fight there.
Let's do it on the bay right
There
here.
you go.
Yeah.
Roll out some
No, it's endless. And again, like sort of chicken and egg with some of the things where our off-site invitational tournament, maybe we turn that into a charity event kind of thing.
Yeah.
We can't really roll those out until we get closer to full membership. It's kind of
Right.
silly to do a full golf tournament for the handful of people right now that would want to participate. So we're just really excited to get those things going, and then as we get closer to full membership, the value for our members just continues to climb. Is the plan. And then
Okay, I'm going to ask the girl question. Is it a men's only?
no,
Or
not
is it-
absolutely not. We have women members, so we're absolutely open to all comers, anyone. If you tour the facility, you'll kind of see the only limitation is kind of what our sort of locker room, shower setup is. It's sort of a towel change culture, so we do have a private lockable dressing room. We have separate restrooms. So as long as you're comfortable in that situation, in the environment, please, yeah, we want all kinds of interesting people in here, and the more women, the better. But it's the environment with sports on. When there's a Padre game, we're playing the audio. There's going to be golf clubs swinging. So that's not for all men. That's also presumably not for all women.
But I do respect that so much. Some women might come in and be like, oh, it's a guy's club or whatever. Yeah, good. Like there needs to be healthy places for people to be able to go and do what they love, and it's not exclusive, yet it's just a good gathering place. I mean, we have a men's group out of the group, and I think it's a healthy
they're hosting
thing.
it, so yeah,
We're going to have
that's
that. Healthy thing to have something other than just business and the grind, that we're actually creating healthy lifestyle.
No, we have
Men's health is definitely part of our mission
No
here.
doubt about it.
It's not just men's health, but in particular, we're 3 middle-aged men. Our investors as well really align to that, because it's kind of an understated, underfocused area. And there are a lot of people, but in particular middle-aged men, that are struggling and are afraid to kind of talk about it. We've talked about this. I have some friends that have gone through some real stuff, and so we think that a lot of what we can do is provide some value and hopefully impact some lives through this. But again, going back to community connection, that third place, like that's always been the original event space, which our event space is awesome, by the way. I mean, we didn't even talk about that, but as we talked more and more about it, it's like, well, what do we really want? We want a community of people that want to improve themselves, and we're all husbands, we're all fathers, we care about our wives and our kids. But sometimes we need relationships outside of that. Sometimes we need a place to go we're not the boss, we're not the dad, we're not the husband. And my wife Gina needs that too on her side. And so just, men in particular, just build relationships differently, struggle silently a little bit more.
Absolutely. Well, because it's difficult. Because I had this conversation yesterday with somebody, and when you in your 20s and 30s, you have a little more free time, but then when you have kids, a family, a business to run, the only time you ever hang out with other men typically are going to be a family barbecue or something, like the neighbors come, but you don't really have that alone time. You don't have that guy time. So I mean, this is perfect for it.
It's kind of this we call this the circuit. We referenced it earlier. It's because I always look at it like in my corporate days, you know, I had to kind of choose what I could do for myself that day or that week. It's like, oh, I'd love to get to the gym today. Great, I can do that. But I wasn't going to be able to hit the driving range or get a cold plunge in or whatever. And so you could do all that here and do it in the same time it would take you to go drive to the driving range and come back. So for us, the circuit is you come in, you know, get your coffee, you sit down, you're firing away some calls or emails, and then you see the member out hitting some golf balls for 15 minutes in between calls, and then work for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they're working out, hitting the Peloton for the 30-minute spot. Then they go plunge, sauna, and then they're working for a few more hours, and then they meet up with a buddy and you know, maybe Padres game's on or something. It's like, you know, and they're still home at 5 o'clock, right?
It's not taking away from...
It isn't.
Yeah.
So before you might have to choose to do one of those things. So, and that's really kind of the impetus of like, why doesn't this exist? And so we kept bolting on things that were like, well, this is the stuff that we like to do.
Provided a solution.
That's the thing. I love that angle because it's not like both you've never done a club before, correct?
No.
And so you both have you've been successful business people, you have your own business, and you created a place that you want. And that's,
I mean, all three of us, it's been a really great partnership. We bring very different skill sets to the table. It's actually funny. So the A in Bermuda turned into a triangle over time. Naturally, it's Bermuda Triangle. The original is Bermuda Grass. And sort of fun island vibes. It all made sense. Of course, the Padres City Connect colors popped into my head immediately.
Yep.
But it's interesting because then the tagline that develops somewhat naturally, I think, was work well, play well, be well. And there's an emphasis on be well for reasons. We think those two feed the third. And again, there's three components to that. There's three of us as GPs, and we all kind of like slide into one of those roles, which is really interesting. So our partner, who's not here, unfortunately, he's like the CFO, brain, numbers, magician kind of guy. He runs businesses super efficiently and knows operations. So he's like the work well component, right? And then the play well component, I like to think, is myself. I like to be social. I don't smile enough. I'm the one. If there's a bright color in here, that's me. So
That's why I wore this shirt.
I think that's kind of me. And then the be well component, again, like to Eric's credit, when we brought him into the trifecta here, really helped emphasize that really important part that we were kind of missing with the be well, which is developing over time. I mean, if you want to talk about the network with Dr. Mike.
Yeah, we can. But I think your spot. Three of us are a big part of it, and then we have these 12 local investors, all first-person individuals, all community members, family members, all very successful in what they do, and they believed in the vision as well, and they helped us craft this thing. Like, we have iterated so much, and honestly, even meeting with some of our newer members, like, we always ask them, give us feedback, how can we make this place better? It's like, again, we don't have experience doing this. Like, this wasn't like, I want to be a club, like a private club owner. I would have laughed at you if you said that 2 years ago to me, but we really do believe in it. Yeah, I mean, on the physical health side, a local doctor who got referred to us, I can't remember how, but he's amazing, and his focus is on preventative health care now. He's a co-founder of a wellness business called Ziva Health, and they're basically taking wearable device data and information, whether it's a Whoop or an Oura Ring, and providing patients through insurance a device if they don't have it, and then basically a monthly scorecard around those results. So you can now really understand, how you're doing, not just in the doctor's office, but actually when you're not in the doctor's office. And so our members can enroll through insurance as long as they qualify for free, get an Oura Ring, and then he'll be here able to we'll do speaker series stuff with him and his network. We'll do basic blood draws, doctor's appointments like physicals, skin cancer screenings in our multi-purpose room. Members don't have to do that, but we'll have it available to them. And there's a lot of education just around basic stuff and I've learned this from my wife, Gina, who's a health coach. Like, she's got me dialed in there. And I thought I knew a lot more than I did. And, I think there's a lot on the physical side. But then that transcends into the social and emotional, right? All those things interconnect. So I love the triangle piece because, again, for us, health, it's physical, emotional, and social. and not understanding the importance of the social. And you guys see that in the group. It's like, that is so important. And, you know, COVID, of course, I think puts a highlight on that. But even before COVID, like, you know, people don't have connection. That's not good. That's not good for their physical well-being as well. So
very well thought out. We need to work on the group. We don't have a tagline. We need to come see you.
Oh,
we need something. I mean, because it does.
Well,
it
we
works
were the
perfectly together.
non-networking.
So.
And it's kind of funny how that kind of came together. I don't know. It's it was over time, but yeah.
Well, it's just the power of good people working with good people, and just that.
We've gotten so much advice and feedback. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like the three of us work really well together. I think all three of us have been very open to being like, hey, we're not married to a particular concept or idea. Like we just want this to add a ton of value, and you know, we're just three.
Want it to expand other cities? I mean, are we talking Bermuda, San Clemente, Bermuda, La Jolla? What?
And by the way,
What
the
would
group is
you-
going to follow them wherever they open up. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very,
Yeah.
very straightforward.
Yeah, we are going to do that. Yeah.
No, I mean, absolutely. If we do this one really well and the members are getting the value we think we can deliver on it, there's no reason. The beautiful thing about the concept being private membership with a subscription model, we don't have a saturation issue. We could put one next door with slightly different amenities. As long as we have a wait list of people that are trying to get in the door, we could put one right there, or we could go 5 miles up the road, or we could go to San Clemente. And we kind of think if we can do this here in Gulf Mecca, where people can play golf
And weather like
all
this,
year long,
like,
there's probably a lot more need in other cities.
Places where they're not getting out.
But yeah, I mean, we certainly don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we're really lucky that we have, you know, a small but really connected, enthusiastic investor group that sees a big vision with this. And that includes our staff too. That we have a great GM, Tyler, who's just really excited about the potential for this, and people like yourselves that have been so eager to talk about it. And
I was gonna say then, what are you doing besides social media to kind of get the word out?
Yeah, I mean, we've even barely
Stickers.
started social
It's all
media. Yeah,
stickers.
it's sticker based. It's honestly just been network conversation based. The nice thing again with the way we developed the model with our investor group was we wanted them to almost exclusively be local people that were going to become part of our sales force a little bit. Tell your friends, tell your family. So that's been wave one. Honestly, has been just our bubble. Where does that take us for membership? And I'll be honest, I mean, we probably thought our immediate network was going to shake out a lot more members than it has, but that's okay. I mean, that's fine. Now we've gone to second level, which is, all right, new members, tell your friends, tell your people, now I'm coming. That's how I discovered the group. I mean, thank goodness for this place. I met you, right? I mean, those are the kinds of things that we're unraveling. And
Through Ian.
through Ian.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Ian came to we joined the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce. They've been great to us and started some networking events there. We hosted some things. Again, the space it's designed for hosting events. It's not really a big part of what we're trying. It's not part in our revenue stream, but it's a nice.
The more exposure you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
far more an exposure play for us. So we're doing some amazing, like with different charity events, schools, you name it. We're hosting events here, getting word out that way.
Are Saturdays open to the public, or do you book those for event days?
I mean, event days are obviously going to be mostly Friday and Saturdays. We're open all weekend to our members. But they're definitely quieter. We have kid-friendly days on Saturdays, which have been a huge hit. So we're not trying to run away from the family. We want to bring them into the circle. So kids are coming in while there's college football on or whatever. They're playing zombie dodgeball on the machines, popcorn machines going. We'll get movies
We're
going.
going to do group lessons, golf lessons for
Yeah.
kids here on Saturdays too with
Super
our golf
fun.
instructors. Yeah, or individual lessons too,
yeah.
like golf.
Do you have a local golf pro that
Yeah, we have a group, Cali Golf.
Shout out
we're
Cali
partnering
Golf,
with,
Mike Mags. They're going to help us with our social media piece too. I mean, all this is in its infancy. Like I said, we've been open 3 months. We were so hyper focused from the seed of the idea. I remember the day. I happened to go to a Padre game that night with our mutual friend and discuss it, and it kind of felt real quickly like it was a real thing because he was like, I'm way in, and I got some people that might be interested in this too. Ball starts rolling. From that was July of last summer, July 23. And here we are in December 24 with an open buildings, real small. I mean, with no experience doing it. I mean, we're pretty proud of that, quite honestly. It was a grind, and we had to I mean, I had to do a lot of sacrifice for my day job. Shout out to my wife Julia for handling our real business that we run in my absence. But it's been a real labor of love, and something like I said, we wanted to exist and we made it happen. We're super proud of that.
Wow.
It's amazing. So like, if you look kind of forward, I mean, where do you see it in 3 years? Is it multiple cities, or are you just, for right now, 3 years is this goal?
I think ideally that would be our goal, would be to, we want to hit a home run here and see this work. Yeah. Iterate it, and then look probably locally that's far enough away to where, you know, we're kind of capturing a different audience. Because we're, you know, you're probably not going to drive more than 15, 20 minutes to be a member here. I mean, some. Yeah, then maybe.
I definitely see this in Carmel Valley.
Yeah, totally. And we've got people that have come through from down south. They're like, oh, I can't wait till you build one down there. And so yeah, but we're trying not to get the cart ahead of the horse here, and really make sure this does well.
I will say, if we do go that route, there's always challenges no matter what, but it'll be a whole lot easier than this one was. Just, the learning curve on this was dramatic in a really fun way. It was a lot of fun. And again, luckily we worked well together on a lot of it. Like, we did a lot of the TI management and the build, and shout out to White Construction, did a great job. Full Swing was unbelievable and remained an amazing partner. And developing great friendships from that as well. So.
And we can really, I mean, the thing is, we can look at the local demographics and say, well, what did we learn from the first one that we want to implement in the second? Do we want to make pickleball component? Right. I think golf will probably always remain. Golf's popular. You talked about earlier. It's growing. Off-course golf is actually growing faster than regular golf. So this technology is we think is
I'm surprised they don't have a pickleball simulator.
Right.
Probably will at some point. Yeah, exactly. So who knows? But we'll learn from this one and determine if and when we want to do a second one. But we don't want to do that until we feel like we're
now size-wise, because this is a pretty big space.
8,000 square feet.
Yeah. Are you looking to kind of?
I think another nice thing about the model is you can scale up or scale down depending on what you choose the amenities to be and what you cap the membership at. If we get a smaller space that's cheaper rent, you can have fewer members, and if you're driving tremendous value from a 100-person membership, that's a lot more intimate. But you cut out whatever it is, one simulator, and maybe there's one less cold plunge or something. That could be a super effective space, or you could go up to 10,000 square foot and pop in a pickleball.
Or you bolt on something right around here if we feel like we need more gym space, or we need more. Yeah, we could, even in this little center here, we could pick up some more real estate if we needed to.
Yeah, that's true. What is your cap on membership, or do you have one?
It's going to be a little floating. I mean, the target is probably about 250, but our impetus is not to water down the membership. So we'll feel out how the space absorbs that. We sort of have been seeing that only about 10% of memberships here at any given time. So the back of the napkin, if we've got 20, 25 people in here, that's a really great, vibrant amount of people without oversaturating the amenities. Yeah. So we'll feel it out, but we're not going to be greedy about it and try and jam as many people in as possible, like maybe a gym would or something like that. That's just the success of this is that everyone, everyone's a tough term, but the majority of people have high retention because they're seeing so much value from this, and the community's getting better and stronger, and you're getting to know people over time, and it just becomes a part of your life that hopefully just grabs hold.
Yeah, improves your life.
I'm excited to get up to go to work. I mean, that's what's so great. And and it's great to be able to work at home. I think we've loved the luxury, to be able to do that, but that brings on a whole different level of stress, and you're never leaving work because even though your home's your refuge, you're like, work's still staring at me when I'm getting in bed at night,
Yeah. Well, and even I still go to my office. My wife and I own an eyewear brand that we founded many like decade ago. And we've always been in office the whole time. We do everything in-house. It's all one great little family we have. But, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm excited for this because as much as I love everybody in here in our little family, I want that third place that is more like sort of my immediate community. Right. I love the women we work with, and it's great and it's fantastic, but I want that day a week to be here.
And they're not your employees.
That's
exactly.
The thing,
that people are connecting here, but they're not in the same business or same team. So there's that energy, but there's not that kind of, obligation or maybe,
I love it because last time I was here, I think one of your members, there's that open workspace. You can tell he's working, and then he has to take a Zoom call, so he runs into the office, takes a Zoom call. comes out, and then next thing I know, he's hitting golf balls, and then back to it. It's just you really can't do that at home. A lot of times, if you're at home, you still have kids at home, or you have a dog, or this thing kind of get focused.
Love that.
Yeah, and we'll have members that we don't see for a week because they were traveling, and then they're back in. It's like that was kind of my lifestyle. It's like you're traveling for a little bit, and you're in the office and this and that. And it's like it's nice to see when members come in here and they're like, oh, it's good to see you. We missed you. How you doing? Yeah, great. Everything's going well. Awesome. And then they're plunging, they're sauning, they're working out. It's like they're
I mean, I do so many different coffees all across the city. If I wasn't doing that, I'd be here all the time. But that's the only difficult
We
thing.
also have members that we are seeing once a month, and we that part of us is kind of like, okay, let's get in front of that. Why? Let's see if they're not here for a reason.
Yeah.
But it's always such a great conversation to learn more about them. It's like, oh, it's a guy who's exited a business and is traveling in Europe and like working on a yacht, and it's like, that's awesome. And he's like, well, so what's your value proposition here? Why did you join? And a lot of it, honestly, he's like, honestly, I love what you're doing. I want to be an element of that community, and I want to have those conversations with other people that are entrepreneurial and coming up, and I want to be a resource for them. I'm just excited to be part of it and lend my expertise and just, yeah, exactly. And it's like, how cool is that for that person to have that mentality? And see it here, even, and honestly have the creativity to see it here. She was one of our earliest members. You probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like I think it was like member 2 or 3, and like he's buying membership when this place was a shell, and then doesn't see us for 2 months.
So that's got to be so rewarding for you
Yeah.
to actually see that it's doing what you intended.
Well, and now I think we're almost at a point where we don't have to work on it as much. We get to enjoy it, which for a while there's a little bit of a grind element where we're getting the business set up and making sure all the things are working.
Space.
And the membership's starting to roll, and we can pay back our investors and all that. And now we're at a place which was the dream, where you just project forward to, I get to be a member here.
Oh, right.
That's the exciting part.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be it's like bartenders who become counselors.
Yeah,
You're going to be
exactly.
the fathers or the mentors
That's
of this group.
right.
Sometimes we feel like we are, playing, bridging relationships and all the things that people are going through. But it's so great to be on that side, to be able to have someone.
Well,
that
it's so
can
great
go
to see
you
people
that way.
happy and just thriving, and that's what you created. Yeah.
It's really cool. And the diversity of people in terms of like who they are, what they do, why they're here, where they are in their family life, has been super rewarding. It's hard to peg. I could tell you probably what I think our member profile sort of is at the median, but around those margins are such different people. No
Totally.
Kids, no relationship, married with several kids, divorced, just moved here, been here forever. It's fascinating. And then the interest they bring into it, which another part of what we're developing would be sort of like things like clubs within the club. I'm a trail runner. I'm excited to start the Bermuda Trail Run Club. And as I've already in our iteration currently, we have several people, I had no idea, never met them before, that are super into trail running. Some who are running like 100-mile races that are way out of my depth, and then others who are like, I'm interested. I want to. We already set up a trail run thing on the side for people that have never done it before, and I feel like the expert. It's cool. So I'm learning from them. They're learning from me.
2 of our members just started a paddle. Is it padel or paddle?
I think it's both, but yeah, it's
review
paddle. It's
business,
paddle here.
yeah.
It's padel in
And that's another kind of sport where it's like, get our members exposed to it. I've tried. Have you guys tried it? It's a lot of fun. They have Oceanside right on Highway 1. They have 2 courts over there. California paddle.
Shout out to Paddle Labs. Check out Andy
Paddle
and Renee.
Labs. Check out Andy and Renee, with 2 of our members and stuff like that. Where now we're going to do a member event out there and get them exposed to it. But and then we're going to start up an investors club, which is really just about sharing ideas and best practices and learning, and and sharing investment opportunities too, but more about just like mentorship and education and things like that.
This is why I love these guys. I told you the parallels between the group, because we're creating an investor club, a
Love
startup
it.
club.
It's great.
Club, and I know you're starting a men's club
We
as
are.
well.
Yep.
It's going to be for members, so
Yep.
I just love that concept of, again, creating this.
Now we're going to do a speaker
Totally.
series. We have a little stage area that we were going to sort of multi-purpose, but just we'll see what's in our network, because we're going to have a speaker series about health wellness stuff.
Yeah, we have a women's health event here, January, I think 7th, where we're doing, premenopausal is kind of the focus of that talk. So
that's with Hera Hub.
Hera Hub.
Kind of interesting. We had no idea moving here. Then we start doing some research.
Well, that one's with Measured Wellness.
Oh, sorry, that's Measured
Hera
Wellness.
Hub's going to be here, I think, this week, aren't we?
Yeah,
doing a
that's right.
Yeah.
So Hair Hub happens to be across the street. There's sort of a parallel business where, admittedly, we are a little more men's focused. They're the flip side, very women entrepreneur empowerment stuff, awesome people, and we're tying sort of we're combining our forces.
We've got a couple events with them, and they're great.
So you know, I have my best friend's a Navy SEAL, and he'd be excited to come. He wants to come do like a leadership talk kind of thing, like these things. And again, like a cart before the horse. Like it's hard to plan these things until we have a bit more critical mass. But these are the kinds of things that we're super excited to just unwind, and we'll try all kinds of things. I'm sure some will flop, and some will be recurring events. And again, like I said, if we do open another space, we will have iterated all this stuff where we can just plug in. We know what programming is a big hit. We'll roll that into this ecosystem, and then add what other new interests and experiences.
And we also want some of our members to want to, what they're passionate about. So it's like have them lead the running club or whatever. It's like, hey, if you're a surfer and you want to do surf trip twice a year, and now you have this community of individuals, a lot of us surf, like get that going, golf trips, stuff like that. So there's a lot of that we think eventually will come from the members, and we'll support it, but not necessarily feel like we have to run everything. Not delegate it to them. Just more like, hey, who wants to be a part of doing this, or who wants to be the kind of the commissioner of our fantasy football leagues that we're going to do, or whatever. Because people are passionate. One of our investors is really into Formula One and did a watch party here a couple weeks ago. We're like, rad, for sure. We'll stay open late. Let's do it. So it's kind of like we'll see what those individuals are bringing to us, and then we'll try to make it happen.
Can you come in, like if he came in, could he have, can you bring in non-members for the coffee date and do it here?
Every member gets a guest pass every single day, included in their membership. So if they want to bring their spouse or their client or their friend in, every day you get one guest pass. You can have up to 3 guests at a time, unless you're in the speakeasy, and this can be rented. This is really also a conference center in here, like for like business meetings, because obviously these golf sims can turn into presentation mode, or we do karaoke on, you have the words on the back.
That's where all the business deals are made. Karaoke.
Time. Is this soundproof in here?
I wouldn't say soundproof,
but you can fit 15 to 20 people in here. And so to answer your question, yes, guests are welcome, encouraged.
I think that's such a great marketing tool to be able to have their clients come here and see what
we have members that come in, and they'll do a meeting. And you think about golf, and we don't look at this as competing against golf. We look at it as complementing golf. We have a lot of members and investors that are members at country clubs. I've been a member at a couple different country clubs. But one of the perks is you can get around a golf in less than 2 hours, no problem. Hitting golf balls, all the data, it's incredible. And so getting a client out for 5 hours to golf is very challenging, and it's just a long time. I mean, even get my wife to do a full round of golf. She's like, 9 holes, I'm out. So, you can come bring DoorDash your lunch, pick up a lunch, hit a few golf balls, play 9 holes here in 30 minutes, and then get your client into kind of a cool space. So there's actually some we're seeing members starting to do that. Obviously bringing in friends and hanging out, and having a beer, a glass of wine, and playing socially.
Get the word out as well. I mean,
totally. Yeah, it's win-win. And we want that. I mean, that's part of our community, is the extension of our members, their network. So
where do they go? Are they signing up for a year? Is it month to month? I mean, if viewers are looking at like, okay, where do I go to sign up? How do I do it?
Yeah, it's 6-month commitment, and then it's month to month from there. So
we're not hiding anything. We're super straightforward. You can find it on the website. It's $400 a month, which, considering some of the things we talked about, that if you stack up some of the comparisons, just a floating desk space like we have in abundance around here is $250 or more a month for just
covered
that
space.
Forget the community, forget the golf simulators and the cold plunge.
So when you start
laying these things on, like I said, best sports bar in North County. This is the only place. I mean, I've lived in a handful of cities that are great sports cities, Chicago primarily.
No offense to our friends at the Regal Seagull.
No,
We love
Regal
them.
Seagull does it right.
There's the best
Regal
one
Seagull
over the
does it
phone.
right.
Yeah.
But this is kind of growing up here and being a huge Padres fan, former Charger fan. You could go to a bar and like a big Padre game would be on, and there's like the Surf Channel on. Like, come on, guys, we're better than that. Never happened here. That was like the one thing I even wrote it into like our investment documents. Like, you will, if there's a Padre game on, not only is it going to be on time, we're going to have the audio going. Like, this is, and the beautiful thing is it's private, and you don't have to. Again, shout out. There's a place for going to like Regal Seagull and great bars and establishments, but that's a big commitment. I mean, not speaking of, forget financially, $9-10 beers or whatever, but just getting there, getting home safely, like the whole thing. You can just come hang here and just be an extension of your work day. Stay if you want, leave if you want. It's not going to be overwhelmed. It's great. It's just it's a fun.
So basically,
So
what he's
cool.
saying out there, if you're a Dodger fan, sorry, can't be a member.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, just hire it.
So we
Yeah.
actually have quite a few Dodger fans.
Right
in
before we
there.
filmed
Yeah.
this, I was out hitting with my buddy Jay, who's one, I think, member number 1 or 2, and he's a huge Dodger fan. I told him, you can wear the Dodger hat, but it's got to be the sneaky one that's got the LA like right down here, not the big one.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, that really is that's a good price.
Yeah.
For everything you're getting.
In credits to use towards additional guest passes, office time, and then renting the speakeasy, so they can basically get 400 credits every month that they can use or lose. And you can use that just to host an event in here once a month. You want to host your kid's birthday party and have them go out to video games and play on the Sims, or host your spouse's birthday party or whatever, or just have additional guests in here. So yeah, we're just trying to make the experiences like if we were a member, what would we want? And we'll iterate. We'll have to change. I mean, we'll everything we've done, we've tried to add value, and we'll keep that in mind. Obviously, we're a startup. We're learning. We're figuring out how the usage is going to look. But like Scott said earlier, we're seeing 10% at one given time. There's certain days that are busier, but we haven't run into a place where we're feeling like this. Even the event that you guys had here, I think we had at one point 80, 90 people at the same time.
Yeah,
And it felt like we could double it for an event. So yeah, that was a good test. And then our comedy show will be another good test if we have 100, 120 people in here.
All right. Well, again, thank you again. This is amazing. I love this. Bermuda Club. And then if you're interested in sponsoring, reach out. Again, we have sponsorship opportunities with the group, but we also meet every Friday, 9 a.m.
at the market space in Acadia. We're excited.
Yeah.
It keeps growing. We're growing rapidly. Everybody's just great. But this is just another perk to growing our community and uniting everybody. So we love people with the same mission and
Right.
same purpose and heart driven. That's really what you're doing, and then why we call it the heart of the matter is why did you really start it? It was a need you felt you had, and you're bringing it to the community and saying if it was a need we probably had, you probably have it too. And now look what you've done.
Absolutely.
Look what you've done.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Legacy.
Excited to
Yeah.
have you in our friend orbit.
All right.
Yay.
Thank
So
you.
good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for tuning
All right.
in.
Thanks again.
Just like and subscribe.